Psychology Facts That May Surprise You. Motivation Edition. You're listening to Psychology in 10 Minutes. I'm David B. Feldman. Most everything we do in life takes motivation. Probably for this reason, one of the largest and historically longest-lasting areas of study in psychology has been motivation. What motivates us? What demotivates us? And how do we keep ourselves motivated in the first place? Sustaining motivation is challenging. Luckily, the research shows that some surprisingly simple motivation hacks can also be surprisingly effective. Here are 3 fun and potentially helpful insights from motivation science that might surprise you. Fact number 1. External rewards may not be as helpful as we think. If we want to increase our motivation, seeking external rewards may not always be the best way to do it. This finding comes from a super classic study published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology, and its results never fail to surprise me. Mark Lepper and colleagues gathered a sample of nursery school students, all of whom initially showed intrinsic interest in drawing pictures. In other words, before the study began, they were naturally motivated to draw and seemed to really enjoy it. From here, the study gets a little complicated, but let's focus on 2 groups of the kids in particular. One group was offered a reward for drawing. Particularly, they were offered a big gold star and a bright red ribbon. A second group of children, in contrast, was offered no such reward. They were simply invited to keep drawing on their own. After a period of time, those who were promised the award received it, and from the children's perspective, the experiment seemed to be over. But in truth, it didn't stop there. Several days later, teachers put out paper and magic markers. From behind one-way mirrors, researchers observed which children chose to continue drawing and how much time they spent drawing. Because the study was now presumably over, no rewards were offered, so any drawing the children decided to do was now motivated by their own intrinsic interest. According to the results, the children who previously were enticed to draw by being promised the external reward spent significantly less time drawing now than they did before the study started. In fact, approximately half as much time. On the other hand, the children who were never offered an external reward for drawing kept drawing and seemed to enjoy it just as much as ever. Of course, we're not children, and nobody gives us a gold star and a red ribbon for drawing pictures. But the implications of this study are the same for us as for the kids. External rewards can undermine our natural intrinsic motivation. This is one reason why an activity that initially started out as a hobby, say photography, can become something we end up not enjoying nearly as much once we turn it into a job. That doesn't mean we should never seek rewards, of course. I, for one, am very glad I get paid for at least some of the things I do. Whether we like it or not, our society runs on money, and it's crucial that we earn enough to take care of ourselves and those we love. But the lesson of this research is that when it comes to motivation, sometimes doing something simply for the joy of it keeps it more fun and interesting in the long run, and putting money or other rewards into the mix can actually stifle our motivation. Fact number 2. Asking ourselves, will I, may be more motivating than telling ourselves, I will. How we talk to ourselves matters. Sports coaches often psych their players up before a game with an inspiring speech. Many of us do the same for ourselves through positive affirmations like, you got this, before trying something difficult. Counterintuitively, however, according to the results of a series of studies by Ibrahim Sinay and colleagues appearing in the journal Psychological Science, asking ourselves the question, will I, may be more motivating than giving ourselves the positive affirmation, I will. In one of their studies, college students were asked to solve a series of anagram puzzles. Before working on these puzzles, however, some participants were asked to write the sentence, I will, 20 times on a sheet of paper, whereas other participants were asked to do the same thing with the question, will I? They found that the students who wrote out the question rather than the statement solved more anagrams. But who cares about anagrams, right? We want to know about something that might affect our lives in the real world. So they redid the study. This time, instead of having people solve anagrams, they asked participants how much they were motivated to exercise for real in the future. The results were essentially the same. The students who wrote down the question, will I, as opposed to giving themselves the affirmation, I will, subsequently indicated that they were more intrinsically motivated to exercise in the future and also said they intended to actually do it. Now, as a scientist, I have to ask the question, did all those people actually go on to exercise for real? Unfortunately, this study doesn't give us the answer. But nonetheless, I have to admit, next time I'm trying to motivate myself to do something difficult, I'll try asking myself the question, will I? Maybe, just maybe, it'll help squeeze out a little extra motivation. Fact number 3. Having a plan B can make us less likely to succeed on our plan A. In a study appearing in the journal Organizational Behavior and Human Decision Processes, university students were asked to unscramble a bunch of sentences. They were told that if they could achieve high performance on the task, they would receive a free snack, something that college students who are often low on money really value. Before attempting this, however, half of participants were asked to formulate a backup plan of how they might obtain a free snack somewhere else on campus, just in case they didn't succeed in unscrambling the sentences. The remaining half of participants formed no such backup plan. The results were straightforward. On average, those who created the backup plan subsequently performed worse on the sentence unscrambling task than those without the backup plan. This is probably because creating a backup plan makes us less dedicated to the original plan. If there's another way to get a snack, particularly if it may seem easier, then why try so hard to unscramble all those boring sentences? Of course, the implications of this study extend beyond a bunch of scrambled sentences. Whenever we think we'll get a second chance at achieving some goal, we may not try as hard the first time. This doesn't mean backup plans or second chances are bad, of course. Sometimes things don't work out, and it's a great idea to have a backup. But it's also a great idea to keep in mind that investing ourselves too much in our plan B could sap our motivation to try hard on our plan A. As all these findings show, motivation is hardly simple. A lot of factors, some of them surprising, can affect how motivated we are at any one moment. Honestly, as fascinating as I personally find this research, I doubt that a few simple quote-unquote hacks can magically make our dreams come true. There's probably no substitute for good old-fashioned time and effort. Nonetheless, by learning about how human motivation works, we may be able to add tools to our psychological toolkit. So next time I strive for some worthy goal, I'll be glad to have a little extra knowledge about what might help me to get there. And that was Psychology in 10 Minutes. Whenever I make one of these podcast episodes, I always sincerely hope that somebody out there finds it helpful, or it, in some way, helps to improve somebody's life. If that's you, I hope that you'll consider taking 2 minutes to log in to Apple Podcasts or your favorite podcasting app and give us a quick review. Or you could consider becoming a monetary supporter of the show by visiting patreon.com/psychology in 10 minutes. That's patreon.com/psychology in 10 minutes. And as always, thanks for listening.